Let's talk about picky eaters. I did a post last week about the processed food snacks that are everywhere targeted towards our children. And I mentioned how they make them hyper palatable by mixing different flavor combinations together that don't occur in nature, like sugar and salt together and fat and adding that together, which, because these things are also devoid of fiber, they don't fill you up. And that signal, that sugar, fat, salt combination signals your brain to want more and more. It's like a survival mechanism when we didn't have, abundance of food like we have now. And so it's natural to want more of them. It's not a failing of you. It is our natural physiology and biochemistry working how it's supposed to work. But these companies have engineered it. So let's get to the point. How do we help our picky children, get past this and move towards eating more whole unprocessed foods? Well, my first tip is, it's a journey. And every step in childhood and development, I feel like it's development for the parent as well as development for the child. So giving yourself grace. My friend always says, this is the first time I've ever done it. And that's the truth. It's the first time you've ever done it with that child, even if you have other children. So give yourself grace. Take a deep breath. It's okay. It takes time, but children learn. Even children that are neurodivergent, neurospecial, I like to call them, because they have superpowers, can also, develop a palate. And granted, it's hard, and as always, you don't want to make it a war. It's just consistency, So the first step is, consistently offering these types of foods, fruits and vegetables, and whole grains and nuts and seeds and beans and legumes. So sometimes it takes 20 or more tries before the palate opens up to these new flavors. So keep trying, keep adding those things. I like trying different things. One of the other things is allow the children, depending on their developmental age, to choose. I like, going to the grocery store, going to the farmer's market if you have one available, and saying, hey, what do you want to try this week? As they get older, they can even choose their own recipes. Maybe they can help you cook during the, not winter months, it's winter here in Vermont, but during the summer you can grow things, and that's another great thing. Even in a pot, if you grow an herb, or grow tomatoes or cucumbers or anything like that, if you have a garden, that's a great way too, because when they see the plant grow, they're more likely to try it. So practical day-to-day things. So I mentioned sometimes their palate is difficult because they've been exposed to these hyperpalatable foods. So some ways to kind of bring them over is, fruit is just as good as vegetables. So offering that variety of different types of fruits is good. Sometimes they're more open to trying the sweet things before they are trying the other things. The veggies, sometimes making a special veggie dip. I like hummus. My family's big hummus lovers. But there's so many different types of dips you can try, and do it with carrots. Bite-sized finger foods are really fun ways for children to incorporate these different foods. The other thing to think about is we're talking about fruits and nuts, like replacing some of the snacks with actually whole food snacks, which is just starting to gradually crowd out those other things. So one great thing, I have to say, my daughter loves this trail mix to this day. And that's a great introduction to eating more whole foods. So ideally, if you make it yourself, because some of the trail mixes, again, they still try to add those combinations in there, again, to make it hyper palatable. So taking some raw nuts and dried fruit and chocolate pieces. The chocolate gets them. Now, sometimes they'll pick the chocolate out, but sometimes they'll grab a bunch and eat some of the other stuff too. So that's a great way to do it. So different types of dried fruit, mango and apricots and apples and raisins, of course, and things like that. So that's just a few things. I have a few recipes that were really favorites with my kids. Peanut noodles, where I could add a whole bunch of different veggies in there. And one of the other great things I used to always make was pesto. We're a big pasta family. But I would make the pesto, and I would pack it with greens. And I would use a variety of different types of greens, spinach or kale. And the great thing is when you mix it with garlic and lemon and olive oil, they eat it by the ton. So things like that. Fun salads where you have a mixture of fruits and the veggies in the salads. That's another good thing. Strawberry spinach salad was a favorite. Maybe I'll put it together, a bunch of these if you'd like that. My kid-friendly recipes. and snacks, just comment below and I'll send it your way. Okay, stay tuned. If you're in New York and Vermont and you're struggling with, creating healthy diets for your kids, or struggling with dietary related illnesses like recurrent stomach pain or constipation and things like that, book a consult. You can book a free discovery call and see if you want to work together. Thanks for watching.